Welcome to the explainer. Okay, let's just jump right into this because we need to start with a genuinely startling statistic about your daily health habits. You know that scoop of protein powder you might be shaking up in your bottle or mixing into your morning smoothie? Well, we are currently looking at a massive, multi-billion-dollar market that is fundamentally rewiring itself. It's dealing with unprecedented global shortages and honestly, hiding some deeply concerning secrets right there on your local grocery store shelves. Nearly half, 47% of top-selling protein powders actually exceed California Prop 65 safety thresholds for toxic heavy metals. Yes, you heard that right. Practically half of the products out there on the market are carrying levels of lead, cadmium, arsenic, or mercury that trigger literal safety warnings. And look, this isn't just some minor, easily ignored blip in the data. This is a systemic issue within an industry that millions of us trust every single day for our nutrition and workout recovery. So you're probably wondering, what on earth is driving this? Well, it's a massive macroeconomic whey supply crisis, driven heavily by a GLP-1 pharmaceutical boom that is completely rewriting the global market. Basically, what's happening is that weight loss medications like semaglutide are now being used by roughly 12% of the US population. And to preserve their muscle mass during that rapid weight loss, these patients are prescribed extremely high-protein diets. This sudden, massive spike in demand has caused whey protein concentrate prices to jump 108% and whey protein isolate to absolutely skyrocket by 139% in just the last 2 years. Now, as these weight loss drug patents expire globally by 2026, which opens up massive new markets in places like China, India, Brazil, and Turkey, we are staring down the barrel of an unprecedented whey shortage. I mean, if just a fraction of the eligible population starts these therapies, we are looking at a 3 billion kilogram global protein deficit. The processing infrastructure literally does not exist to supply that much. So this severe shortage forces manufacturers to scramble for alternative, sometimes cheaper supplies, which absolutely forces us as consumers to look much, much closer at what's actually inside these tubs. Because of this scramble, we really have to look at the dark side of this booming market. Enter the Clean Label Project, who released some horrifying data on heavy metal contamination in everyday supplements. And they didn't just test a handful of random products either. They analyzed over 35,000 data points across 160 of the absolute top-selling protein products. That represents 83% of the entire market. So this is by far the most comprehensive look at what is actually making it into our bodies. Get this, because the juxtaposition here is just shocking. The health halo products, organic and plant-based proteins, actually showed significantly higher levels of dangerous toxic metals. Organic powders had 3 times more lead and twice the cadmium of non-organic options. And plant-based powders, they tested at 3 times the lead of regular whey. Because of this, it is absolutely crucial that you choose lab-tested brands. For instance, take our first supplement, the Funk Lab Whey Protein Isolate, and our second supplement, Buff Chick Buff Whey Protein. Both of these brands rigorously utilize third-party testing programs like BSCG to guarantee they are free of these exact heavy metal risks. That gives you genuine assurance. Are you a chocolate fan? Well, hold on to your shaker cups because even more shockingly, simply choosing a chocolate-flavored shake over vanilla could expose you to 110 times more cadmium. Seriously? The cacao plant naturally acts like a sponge, absorbing heavy metals right out of the soil. That means your flavor choice alone is a massive variable in your heavy metal exposure. According to the data, the absolute safest bet for avoiding lead and cadmium entirely is to go with a non-chocolate, whey, or collagen-based protein. Okay, so with our trust and standard front-of-package marketing completely dismantled, let's pivot to the actual science of what we're eating. Let's talk about how our bodies actually absorb protein. In the scientific community, we use a metric called DIAAS. That's the Digestible Indispensable Amino Acid Score. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's important. It isn't just about how many grams of protein are stamped on the back of the label. It's about how efficiently your body can actually break down, absorb, and use those specific amino acids to build muscle and repair your tissues. So what is the gold standard? Looking at the true nutritional value, whey isolate is the undisputed champion for both cost and muscle building efficiency. It boasts a massive DIAS score of 125, and it costs just around 3 cents per gram of protein. But take a look at egg whites. They actually served as the original scientific gold standard for protein quality because they contain 0 fat, 0 carbs, and a highly digestible complete amino acid profile. If you're avoiding dairy, both egg whites and lean beef are excellent complete alternatives. Now, for our plant-based viewers, it's vital to note that plant proteins are typically 15 to 30% less bioavailable than animal sources. Gram for gram, they just don't absorb into your system as efficiently. So, what does this mean for you? It means you need to treat it like a puzzle and blend complementary sources, like pairing pea protein, which is super rich in BCAAs, with rice protein. You'll also need to consume slightly more total protein to match the exact same muscle protein synthesis you'd get from a single animal source. All right, so we've covered the powders and the science, but what about the booming protein bar market? You walk down the grocery aisle and see dozens of labels screaming clean, natural, and sugar-free. But we have to ask, are those clean labels actually telling the truth, or are they just hiding behind clever food chemistry? This is what we call the clean label trap, and it perfectly exposes the difference between transparent, whole food products and highly processed sugar-free traps. When looking at the best options on the market, our third supplement, the RX bar, and our fourth supplement, the Go Macro bar, use super short ingredient lists featuring real, actual foods like egg whites, sprouted brown rice, and dates. The exact same goes for our fifth supplement, Scout Organic, and our sixth supplement, the Transparent Labs Protein Plus bar. They're the real deal. But then you hit the borderline products. Our seventh supplement, the Perfect Bar, and our eighth supplement, the Pro Bar, might look really clean on the outside, but they fall short by relying on inflammatory, industrially extracted seed oils like sunflower and canola. But the real issue with these fake clean bars is the gut-disrupting ingredient systems. Let's expose the rest of our list, covering our 9th through 15th supplements, which fall squarely into this trap. Take our 9th supplement, the David Protein Bar, along with our 10th supplement at Quest, and our 11th supplement, Bear Bells. Sure, they boast zero sugar, but they rely heavily on maltitol and sucralose, sugar alcohols that can actually spike your blood glucose and cause severe bloating. Then we have our 12th supplement, 1 bars, our 13th supplement, Pure Protein, and our 14th supplement, Cliff Builders. They all mask cheap soy isolates with gut-fermenting erythritol and palm oil. And finally, our 15th supplement, the Ready Clean Bar. This one is pure marketing deception. Despite having clean right in the name, it's packed with agave syrup and refined canola oil. So, with all this noise, how do you actually protect yourself? Well, here is your 4-step survival guide. It's a simple checklist to ensure you are buying truly clean, effective, and safe products on your next grocery run. First, demand third-party testing like BSCG or NSF to avoid those heavy metals. Second, ignore the front label completely. Just flip the box over and read the actual ingredient list. Third, look for gut-friendly natural sweeteners like dates or allulose, instead of things like maltitol or sucralose. And fourth, strictly avoid refined seed oils like canola or sunflower oil, which totally skew your omega-6 ratios. This quote really hits the nail on the head. Ultimately, you cannot rely on front-of-package marketing. You have to take the time to read the label. The FDA doesn't regulate the word clean. A brand can legally slap natural on a wrapper that contains chemically extracted oils and gut-fermenting artificial fibers. The ingredient list on the back is where the marketing stops and the actual science begins. So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on regarding transparency, your health, and taking back control of your own nutrition. As the global supply of protein gets tighter and the chemical processing gets more complex behind the scenes, the responsibility falls squarely on us to be informed. Are you going to let unregulated marketing dictate your health, or are you going to flip the package around and demand better? Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.